I don't know why it wouldn't ever let me do that. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining in. I hope everybody else is coming in here soon. Just want to acknowledge all of our members and the officers position need. Why is this working? We still need, as we're heading into, I think I'm just going to jump over this a little bit because it's something we're definitely going to be talking about at the ALC clinic, are just some of the roles and the committees and just what those expectations are. It's also just like a really good opportunity. I'm probably going to lean into that a lot. You know, the office is putting together just a lot of just fun stuff and just an opportunity to kind of build rapport, which I think in the past, ALC, I'm only speaking from my heart, right? And just what my experience was on ALC was that it just felt like obligatory and it felt sometimes, full transparency, it felt like there was some heavy lifting being done by some and not a lot of heavy lifting by others. And so I just really want it to be something that brings us all together and also gives me an opportunity, if I'm, you know, so bold as to offer, is an opportunity for us to, as top producers, just be in alignment and helping one another grow their businesses. I also, you know, have talked to each of you individually, as well as, you know, in group settings at the last meeting that we had about growth. And Sue and Allie and I were just talking here before the meeting about now that we're past the move, we do have a few dangling participles, as I like to call them, that still need to be finished, tech and things like that here in the office. But just really want to get past the move phase and burn some sage around that and really focus on the future. And really the future of this market center and for our businesses is growth. We really need for the health of this market center and, you know, for all of us, for this office to grow. And I really want to be in alignment with people that are in alignment with you. And I trust all of you in this group to, you know, touch base with me if you're closing a deal and you're closing here at the office or you're closing somewhere else, whatever. I'll try to be here and say hello to the other agent. And if it's somebody that you really loved working with, I had a call yesterday with an agent that is in my top 3 all time of all the closings. I just had a really good conversation with her. And she's like a $31 million producer. So I want that with you as well. So I'm going to be counting on you as we're going forward, but that's stuff that we're going to be talking about at the clinic. But we've got, I'm always wanting to check. What's the code? She's killing me. Deanna Davis. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, go. Right. Yes, sir.
Sorry, I was just going to ask, is there a way, or does it make sense? This is totally your call, but does it make sense for you to share who your targets are so that we can assist if possible? I mean,
yes, let me give you a blueprint for that. So currently right now, Allie Bradley is stepping into a coaching role. We're calling it it's called the launch coach. She's going to be working in conjunction with Doug Ellis, who is our PC coach, and specifically focusing on unlicensed, new to business, and like zero production agents. So we are working, I think we talked about this before, strategically of what that funnel looks like. We have more than one funnel. So Allie's focus is going to be on what we call new to business. So anybody that you know that might want to get their license, K-score is free. You know, talk to Allie and she will make that connection and get that going. She'll also, our goal as leadership is to be super respectful. If you're the person that's referring them in, we want to make sure that you're in that conversation as well in the initial stages, so that when that agent signs up with KW, they list you as their sponsor. Like our goal is to help you build your downline, your profit share. And that should be a funnel for you, like as you go on, because that goes in perpetuity, right? That is something that stays with you. So when you retire or whatever. So there's that, the new to business. Doug is responsible for the R1s. They're called red ones. And those are agents that go up to a certain number of transactions and a certain volume of business. Typically it's under like the capper phase, right? So I would say 2 million and below. So Doug's in that range. Allie and Doug are both in that range, but that is Doug's focus in terms of recruiting. So if you give us a name of somebody in that realm, you know, he's going to take that ball and run with it. Or, you know, if he's not available, I will do it or Allie will, but that's typically his focus. My focus is the R2s. So that's specific to the, you know, anyone that's capper status and up all the way up to, you know, your mega agents or whatever. So 2 million in production and up. I'm connected to Broker Metrics now, so I can look up any agent's production and see how many list sides, buy sides, and their total production in the last 12 months. So if there's someone that you're loving, that you're working with, it's like, wow, you know, this is like really amazing. Pop your head in my office. Let's look up their production and just kind of see like who would be the right person to connect with them. All the lights keep flickering. But what happens then is, you know, our goal, because a cold call is a cold call. It's really kind of tough. If you're in the middle of a transaction with somebody, that's more of a warm lead, right? If you talk to them and say, look, you've been really great to work with so far. I'm super, you know, impressed by just the way that you do business. You're super professional. Would it be okay if I coordinated a call with you and my team leader? Like, we're not going to put the full court press, but we just want to get to know you and see like how you're doing in your business. That's kind of the script, if you will.
Yeah. So what I'm saying though is,
Oh, sorry.
no, I think that's all great. And I'm glad you said all that. But my point is, if there's somebody that you've had some sort of connection with, but you know, you need to figure a way to get across the finish line. A lot of times, like, there are going to be some of us that have worked 20 deals with that person.
Yeah.
And so I could call them up, for example, and say, hey, you know, I hear Jennifer, you know, you're high on Jennifer's list. What can we do to get you over here? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I get what you're saying. So who's on my hit list? That's a great question. And maybe that's something we can start coming to the ALC with, is like, who do we have like in the warm gene pool, if you will? And if one of you knows them and could give them a call, Joe, chime in there. Like, what are your thoughts in terms of leaning into the ALC? What are you waving at
Oh,
me?
I have strong feelings here.
Of course you do.
I never have soft ones. I think a really big thing right now is teams. I think it's actually the people who need the most leads and are the most conscious of the who are the most susceptible to the shifting market are the people that I'd like to be having conversations with, because our capping model and our fixed expenses for a team of say 3 or 4 or more is extremely attractive, because those people, their margins are going to be pinched from a lead perspective and the total number of unit count perspective. And if we can have conversations with those teams right now, or even indies, to be honest with you, this is a very attractive time. So if you're in business with anybody who's a member of a team, my hit list would be getting to their rainmaker. Or if you're in touch with anybody.
I don't think that's his question. His question is, who are we talking to right now that's a warm lead that he might know that he could make a second call to? Am I correct, Ryan? Is that
not
sorry.
necessarily right now, but is there a process? Is there a possible process to incorporate that?
Okay, so I think that would be more on a regular schedule. Is we could say, hey, we're looking to get into business with these people, or this is somebody that I've had a call with and I'd love to get in front of them. Allie had given me somebody before long that you know, I've gone back to her. Right, I've gone back to her after he like missed an appointment, and I said, hey, you know, can you help get me back in front of this person? So so those types of scenarios would be super helpful. I would say right now, though, just generally speaking, please be on the lookout for some of the people that I was just describing, those like higher hire production people, because once they get pinched from, if we lose 10% of the business, let's just say 10% drop in unit count or whatever, that's going to really hurt a team who might not be in a very high functioning budget model or economic model where 10% might be all their profitability. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, paying $100,000 to Howard Hanna doesn't seem like such a big deal when the market's doing all the work for you. But now it's like, you need to get your shit together. So, my two brokerages that I would say are specifically hit list for me right now are going to be Berkshire and Howard Hanna, because they have the least attractive financial model for a shifting market for agents.
So right now, like the mega that I talked to yesterday, Roxanne Humes, have you done any deals with her?
Never heard of her.
She's amazing. Like probably in my top 3 that I've ever had to deal with. And she's got a pretty good sized team now of 8 agents. But I get what you're saying. And something that I will be mindful of is, when I get an appointment, I could shoot an email out to the ALC saying, hey, does Allie, whoever that agent is that I'm meeting for coffee. Because one of the things that we do have, or that I'm learning in one of the classes I'm in, is a follow-up plan, which is like, I make the contact, or whoever, Allie, Joe, Doug, we make the contact, and then it turns into an appointment. Well, then who can call them next, right? That's not, crazy.
Yeah.
It could be an agent on the ALC. It's like, yeah, I did a deal with them. Let me call them and just say, hey, I heard that you met with Jennifer and it went well. What can we do to get you over here? Whatever. Is that what I think?
Yeah, totally. And just one more thing, just for consideration. I don't know that this is a good idea or not, but what if would it be bad? I'm sure there are some downsides that I'm not thinking of, but during the monthly meeting, whether it's ALC or even the whole team meeting, to post like the top 5 hit list that you're after. Because then think about it this way. So say somebody's on that list, and then I am, I'm showing a property, and one of those people are the listing agents. If I pick up the phone and say, hey, can I show your property? By the way, you were in our monthly presentation this month. You're one of the top 5 people that our company wants to hire right now. It's kind of flattering, strokes the ego, and just something to think about.
Well, like Jayla, for example, earlier this week, what day is today? It's Tuesday. Monday. Is it Tuesday? It's Tuesday. Yesterday, I was making co-broke calls. Do you know that we do that? Like every deal that you guys close in this office, we call the other agent and we say, thank you so much for, closing this deal with one of our agents. This is my verbiage. And I say, I just want to give you an opportunity to share feedback, constructive or positive, on how things went with our agents, so that we're growing and always trying to get better. And Jayla had a deal. I, for the life of me, can't remember his name right now, but I'll think of it in a second. And he was just like, oh my gosh, it was literally one of the most smooth transactions I've ever had. And I looked this guy up and he's at like 7 million a year. And he was like, great transaction. It was amazing. And so, that could be a follow-up that I could then turn around and call Jayla and go, hey, this guy had nothing but great things to say about you. What do you think about him being a good fit for our office? So it's more interactive between us. But yeah, I get your point. We could have, like a hit list or whatever that we put out there, but there's 8,600 agents in the MLS. Sure. So what's the criteria? Where are we coming from in terms of narrowing it down to specific age? Yeah, our top 5. The only thing I can think of is like, do we have those people like in the pipeline? Like legitimately, we've met with them and we like them and we think it would be a good fit. That might be the narrower, like the.
Yeah. So let's, and I'm sorry that I'm totally monopolizing this conversation. That's not my intent.
Talk about it through the whole thing.
But one of the things that I know is Compass's opening line, and I know it's generic. I know they use it on everybody they talk to, but I've heard so many good things about you from so many of our agents. That's their line.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, I'm special. They're reaching out to me because I do something different. And
do you want to hear what I've said? Is I've said Because I've gotten a couple of direct referrals from a few of you. In fact, Ryan, when I talked to, and I forget his name now, something with a G in the last name, Gear maybe, or Dyer.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
Yeah. So
yeah.
so my line has been, hey, if any of you have given me a direct referral, which I've gotten quite a few or a handful at least, I said, hey, you came to me and one of the agents in our office gave you a glowing review. And my first thought was, I don't want to just hear about that person. I want to get to know them because that's the kind of person I want to have working in our office. And so I'm reaching out to you to get to know you a little bit more and understand if there's an opportunity for us to be in business, what that would look like.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Yeah, totally. Because that's not I mean, it is a script, but it's also not BS. Like I literally want to fill our office with people that we love to work with, So, and I think any of us would feel that way, right? Like the best way to love where you work is to build an environment you love. Like we are in control of that. This is our leadership group. So,
well, and there's like a whole, I don't want to say science, but it's literally what we talked about for an hour and 15 minutes yesterday is the training that I'm getting, that Allie's getting, that Doug's getting from Joe and from the region is like how to have those, calls, the anatomy of a recruiting call. Like there's a whole bunch of science around how to do that. It's been a learning experience for me as not being a cold caller, as any of you can imagine, like picking up the phone and just talking to a $10 million producer is a little unnerving, but just trying to, my philosophy is also, I want to come from contribution. I don't want to just call and say, hey, I feel differently. We all have different personalities. So taking that into account, like when I've had a deal with somebody and they just happen to be on my call list, it's easy because they know me, right? But if you already know them too, and you're like, hey, I really love for you to talk to my team leader. We've got a lot of things happening in our office and it's changed and it feels different. Like you guys are the best source of putting our story out there, just like I am too. I was in the trenches, with all of us here. So, there's a whole lot of talk with us as a leadership group about how we're making those calls to be effective.
Cool.
Makes sense. Cool. Thank you.
I appreciate. Yeah, dialogue. I appreciate this conversation.
Yeah, it's literally a huge, like it's supposed to be 90% of my job. So looking forward to that and hopeful that all of us can be in alignment together so that I can help you. Like I have one person in my downline. Anymore, it's not even like a motivation for me. It's a motivation for you and how to help you build that. And just growth, feeling good here at the office with great people. Okay, so let's move again. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. I do. To ALC clinics. So most of you have gotten back to me of who's attending. If you have not, we have reached the deadline. The region has to book their tickets and then we have to look at booking rooms if you're coming out the night before, which most of us are doing. We're driving out Wednesday afternoon to get there Wednesday evening because it starts like 9 a.m. on Thursday morning. And then we will literally just turn around and drive straight back. So a lot of kumbaya and all that yummy stuff in the car. But please let me know if you're coming. I've got to tell the region today so we can get you a ticket. Deanna, did you get your ticket? Allie, did you get your ticket yesterday?
Yeah, I got mine yesterday.
Deanna, did you get an email from Eventbrite?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Those are the three here. And Linda Fulcomer. Linda Elder. Cindy, I was looking at your face and I was like, anyway, I haven't had all my caffeine today. Okay. Okay. So please, 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 if you can make that, there's just so much content and they're really pouring into us so that we can have a 2023 ALC that I think is going to be great. let's see, attendant, Joe, Eva, and Jennifer. Okay, ALC applications. If you're not coming to the ALC clinic, we still need you to fill out that ALC application telling us that you want to be on the ALC for 2023. If you're coming, I would like to send you the KPA. So Deanna, Linda, and Allie, we're going to be going through your KPA before we go. It's just like a really great opportunity to just take a deeper dive into you and your business, which I'd be honored to do with you. But the application is what we need. We've only received 4. I think Linda, Chris Keller, Allie, and Jean, right? Yes, Alana's nodding. Yes. So please send those in. Any questions about ALC, ALC Clinic, ALC 2023? Okay. Joe, do you want to talk a little bit about the transaction fee? That's number 3 on our new business.
So I'm not going to even put my.
Can I go that way?
Idea.
To my hairdresser. My hairdresser.
Are you saying something about my hair?
No, she's at her hairdresser. Are you sick? Do you not feel good, Joe? Or is it just your?
No, it's just these are my other headphones. And they suck.
Okay.
I'm proposing that we raise the transaction fee for 200. I think I want to get into.
We're not hearing you very well. It's literally chop, 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 chop.
Okay, I'm going to take my microphone to my.
What we're talking about, is
This will be better.
proposal
Can you hear
to
me better now?
increase the admin fee, the transaction fee from 200 to 250. And we want to just open the floor up to conversations around that.
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So I'm not going to stay off my headphones for long because I don't want to have the meeting blast to my whole office, but I'm proposing that we raise the transaction fee. I think the responsible thing for me as the OP is to put this through the ALC for conversation and pros and cons. Essentially, I think this is a way for us to financially insulate the market center with the shifting market. We're probably going to see a reduction in unit count. And as we see that, the transaction fee allows us to collect. And again, I think I'm very reasonable on the times we don't need to collect. So I'm here for that. But I think if we can get this transaction fee, it keeps it, we're still very competitive within the market, still gives you the room to charge up to $395. I've seen $495. We have teams here that are charging $795. So it gives you the room to still create profitability for yourself. But that $50 on a unit count, I think would be a very positive insulation financially for the market center without putting that burden on you guys in any additional way other than it comes out from the consumer to us. So I'm not going to advocate super strongly either way. I want you guys to have conversation, but I'm putting that motion forward.
All right, ALC members, jump in here.
I always thought it was 250, so I've always charged 250 until like a year ago. I saw them like it's 200. And I look at the HUD, and other brokerages are charging so much more. I know Coldwell's is like $695 standard, like starting. So I'm good.
Yay. Yay. Okay.
I would just like to know, I know some people are still paying an admin fee of $188. This, I believe, would be an across the board increase to $250. So if you're currently being billed the $188, if we raise this, it would also be the $250.
It's getting us to a more consistent level. Yeah.
I'd like that it would be standardized
Okay.
across the board.
Because there's some people from the old times like Ryan and I. Ryan, Deanna, I had you muted, Deanna. I can unmute you unless you're at the hairdressers.
I'll be the other side of the fence. I hate admin fees. I think they're I hate the principle of them. And I think they're manipulative, and any increase in them to me is, I mean, it's basically in one way or another coming out of my pocket, because half the times I don't charge them anyways, because I feel like they're manipulative. I feel like, that's just adding on to now, I don't know.
Okay.
If you look at, what's the other one that so many people left Keller Williams for, what's it called? Your Town Realty. I think their total is $300 a transaction, no cap, no anything. So, we're getting pretty close to that, but you're still paying, the cap too. So
They also don't provide like anything for like CRM or DocuSign or whatever. Like my understanding was like one of those individuals was still in dotloop, like because they weren't provided. So they didn't have any of the other things. Those things are charged to you, through the desk fee, but it is.
I think a lot of people, including myself, are still paying for dotloop.
I am.
We don't get that anymore.
I know.
And a lot of people are still using their own CRMs, so if you're in a competition, versus nobody's going to leave dotloop for DocuSign anyways. So anyways, that's just my thought. I know I'm just one isolated opinion in the storm, but that's my thought. I'm against it.
Thank you. All right, Cindy, Jayla, anybody else? Let me see who's on. Who else do we have on the call? I see Doug. Anybody else want to chime in there? We can't only have 2 people chiming in on that.
Oh. I'm on the fence with it.
Okay. Tell me why.
I don't know, because I don't know. I'm just on the fence.
Okay. I feel like with growth, so can I have your permission to just be completely open and honest, like take off my team leader hat? And I'll be Joe, it just goes back to growth. If we had more cappers, more agents in the office, and again, we're taking responsibility for, the part that we've played as leadership up to a certain point, but there was some things that happened prior to that caused, some hemorrhaging of our office. And I think that again, I use the same phrase, burn some sage around that. But if there's growth, if we have cappers in the office, it makes it a lot easier for the office to be in a safe space financially. So we could get in the weeds, but I'll just mention, we have what's called cap management. It's a calendar where every one of us as cappers needs to be in a certain slot of, January through December, so that it shows that because cappers basically pay the bills. Like it handles the overhead of just the market center. And so currently we have like 5 gaps where we don't have a capper anniversary date in that month. So say, let's just pull one out of thin air, like October. We don't have a capper in that month. So what happens is we get no company dollar, right? Like there's not a person that resets a big agent. And so we end up in the hole. And so, that's just the health of any brokerage, any market center, they're looking at just filling in all those anniversary dates or, however they calculate it. So it always, I'm just probably making Joe do the little happy dance, but it just always goes back to growth. And just, again, back to the original conversation we had about agents in the market center. So I would love to keep the admin fee to 200. We just need more agents to make that, make sense for the market center, especially now that we've spent and did what we all really wanted, which was to have a market center we could be proud of. And, that's why we're having leases and why we're, agents that are having offices are be paying their, monthly rent on that. So it just all full circle. Does that make sense? Like, I would absolutely love to keep that low. Ryan, I'm like you. I would say 100% of my listings, I always absorb it. But if I've got the admin fee, if I've got an investor that's running me ragged for $40,000 houses, I'm charging that. Like, I might even make it 300, because I'm recouping on maybe a little bit of, a lot less money. But does that make sense? Does any of that resonate or?
I mean, I understand. It's a business decision. I mean, I understand both sides.
So I think one of the things that we're going to see, kind of speaking to the more macroeconomics of it, is Gary showed us he showed us some information when I was down there in Dallas that the brokerage profitability of all brokers has gone down. And the average brokerage right now is profiting in the neighborhood of 1 to 2% profitable without miscellaneous income, which is a super slim margin. So I think what Jennifer just said is right. I would probably feel a lot less inclined to ask this question of us if we were really, really, really feeling great about it. There's two things for me. One is our internal health, and two is our external market conditions. I think our internal health makes me have to ask this question, and our external conditions tell me that I'm not crazy to ask it because our competitors are in the same space. So that's why, I bring it to you guys for discussion. If we vote it down, then I think, we just have to be, if it's a no, then it's a no. And I'm committed to helping the market center grow, because that would be the way that I would need it to proceed. But again, I don't think we're crazy based on our market, the market conditions, externally to have this conversation. So, yeah.
Growth means everything. Like, it hits every other cylinder too, like staff and support and, all those other things. I'd love to get to a point where the growth was so amazing we could offer .loop as an alternative to agent. I mean, it's just all the things. It answers all the questions.
Like I'll give an example. We pay for compliance. When I stepped into the role, and we said it jokingly and laughed a little bit about it, but when I stepped into the role, there was thousands of incomplete.
We know that, yeah.
Compliance, right?
Yeah.
And so we now pay a contract service to do that. Like, if you want to think about it, like, what's really happening is that the transaction fee, I'm passing that through on expenses that I absorbed, that the prior ownership group, again, burning sage around that the prior ownership group was just not spending money on. So you were not getting any level of support. There was nothing to that. So so it's a trade. If we decide no, then I can live with that. I won't. There will be no guilt around that from me to you. We might repose it again at some point in the future. I would also be willing to explore like a growth metric where we say, if we don't have a certain amount of growth by March, that we then implement 250. And if we do have that certain amount of growth, then we don't, and we stay at 200. I would be game for that. I'm good with winning regardless of the strategy. So I'm not emotionally attached to the path. So is that fair? Like, this is a business conversation. So I'm super, I take all my defenses down. Like, we could just have a real talk.
Yeah.
I think everybody should pitch in conversation though. This is a real topic. This is a business talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll jump in here. I don't know if you can hear me.
Jan.
Okay, I had to mute because my dogs are wrestling. So if they start wrestling again, I'll remute. But the market that I came from, York, Lancaster, Hanover area, admin fees, they were the norm. I mean, and it's coming this way. We are seeing more and more companies that are charging it. And I'm not saying to do anything that would be greedy or ridiculous. I used to see admin fees that were upwards of $6.95. And yeah, at that point you feel like that's just being selfish. But a 200 to 250 increase makes sense, in my opinion, because of how it's going to help grow the company and the fact that other companies are doing it. There are a few that are not. They are the last holdouts. I used to not charge my clients the admin broker fee either, and I would swallow it. But then I don't know, I wrapped my head around it, and maybe that's the best way I can put that, and embraced it, realizing this is for the good of the company. You know, if you look at the lender fees or some of the other fees that your buyer is paying or seller, I mean, that you realize that
It's a drop.
250, yeah, it's a drop in the bucket. So my 2 cents there. I'll remute myself before they start playing again.
Thank you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to just to add on to what Cindy was saying. From our market here in Altoona is a little different. We have much lower co-brokes. We're seeing 1.8%, 2%, 2.25. Those are our norms and have been for quite some time. But last year, before we signed on with Keller Williams, we weren't charging anything. And initially, our agents, when we initiated our minimum transaction fee of 200, there was a little bit of pushback, and there was a semi-heated conversation about getting them to pay. But the reality is, we're now looking at we have agents, and cities included in this as well, that are collecting what they need to collect in order to pay for the things that are assisting, that making their businesses run more efficiently and provide the kind of service that our clients deserve to have. We're having no pushback from any one of our agents that I've mentioned of anybody having an issue getting what we're getting. And I just recently raised mine to 249. So I get both sides as well. I see certainly the outrageous ones that you see that are $8.95, and I've seen them, or $6.95. I get it, but from just the standpoint of our office function, we use that money as a means to pay for services that are provided to our agents and to our clients. So, it is not just some ancillary, charge that we're tacking off. We have justification and viability behind it. So,
Thanks, Doug. Jayla, you have any thoughts on that? Are you in a showing?
Well, when I was at the other Keller Williams office, I paid $295 as the admin fee. So I'm kind of used to that price point. So $250 doesn't seem like a big jump to me. And in my business, usually when I'm talking to my clients, I don't have any issues with explaining what the fee is for. Like, I've never had any pushback as far as, they don't want to pay the admin fee. So I think a $50 increase wouldn't affect my business, and it would just benefit the company. So I'm on kind of the other side. I would say, okay, for the $50 increase, I think that we can still do what we need to do.
Okay. Thank you, Jayla. Anybody else here? Allie? Oh, you already talked? Yes. I can't see your hand. Sorry. She's behind the screen here.
Thing that I have to say is you have to live, everybody lives on the ALC or house. Okay, so you have a skewed view of that admin. So the new agents that are coming in trying to get started, and they're getting these small listings, or they're dealing with these investors, like you said, that are buying the $35,000 properties. Okay, they use a little bit of that as a buffer to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the only thing that, can you do something? I'm going to propose. Can you do something where if the transaction's over a certain amount, it's one, and under another? I'm just, that's not complicated. I'm not trying to make your life complicated, okay? But I'm looking at it from a different perspective of, as you bring new people in, they're just getting started. They're looking at it, okay, here's the office fees, here's this. They're just trying to to get started.
I get that point too. And also with the way the interest rates are and the fees and people, new buyers are having to buy down and their fees are high, you know, like that's always been a decision that I would make based on knowing my client, right? If they're cash strapped or whatever, but I get, you know, my price point has changed, you know, I'm in a higher range and it's non-factor. So I get that point. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Do we want to vote on this now, or do we want to marinate on this and vote on it in December? Joe, what are your thoughts there?
So I'd rather do it. I'd rather send out a vote, maybe through like
We'll just send out a Google form,
like a Google form or Survey Monkey type of thing. So maybe we do like next Friday. So everybody has a week and a half or so, 2 weeks to think about it. Is that fair? Like, I don't want to make anybody feel on the spot. I just presented this today, but I don't also want to wait all the way till December. So.
okay.
This will also allow us to go to ALC clinic and maybe pick up some ideas there. Yeah.
I do too. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for all that feedback. Totally. I think we're all in a alignment that we can at least see both sides for sure. Recruiting profit share, we've talked about that. So thank you. Thank you. A couple of announcements. We are starting the next book club. It's going to be, I think we decided it's going to be the Tuesday. We're trying to move, some of you have talked to you about this already. We're trying to move all in-person trainings to Tuesdays. I think it just makes it that much easier if you want to come to a thing and you're already here for the team meeting or you're already here for PC or whatever. And so when you look at the calendar and you're thinking of an in-person training, you just know it's going to be on Tuesdays. So we're thinking about starting that. Let me open my calendar on the 22nd, which is the Tuesday after, a week after next week's team meeting. So it'll be the following. If you haven't read James Clear, Atomic Habits, great book. I think it's super powerful. And he's got a really great newslettery thing that goes out that's just great. So be on the lookout for that. November 22nd is coming. If you already have Atomic Habits, the book, and you wouldn't mind loaning it to somebody, that would be great. We're looking at having to purchase the books. So just something to think about. Or if you're joining and you want to attend the book club, let us know that you already have a book. So we're not, buying that book. I'm thankful. So many of you here on this call have been coming to the Monday market call. Since that is a Zoom, it's not in person. We're obviously keeping that on Mondays, but that's going to be with Ali and I every Monday. So really love that you're coming to that. So thank you. I would love to know, like, is it helping? If it's not, feel free to pass, but if it's helping, let me know. I'd love your feedback anytime. If you're finding that information helpful. Next ALC meeting is Tuesday, December the 5th. So please mark your calendars. Ali, do we have a tentative date for an open house / holiday? We've moved. Come see us.
December 8th
is the potential date there. December 8th. So please just kind of put that in pencil. We are going to be putting our foot on the gas with that. Would love our ALC members to help out with that. But there's some pretty big brains here working with good people to make a fun event. We've decided to have it here. It just makes sense to have a dual kind of event that is like open house / holiday party. I hope that's okay with everybody. It just felt like a good fit. For the new space. And there's so much room here. Another great opportunity to invite an agent that you'll like. I know, I'm just going to beat that dead horse, but
Tuesday, December 5th doesn't match up.
Uh-oh.
Either a Monday or a Tuesday. Are you doing Tuesday, December 6th?
Let's see. Monday, okay, Tuesday, December 6th is the next ALC. So please excuse that. Thank you for that. Eva, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you mess up your calendar? Okay, so Tuesday, December 6th is the next ALC meeting. So Ally, the 8th is a Thursday.
Yes.
Yes, so that is correct. Thursday, the 8th is the tentative date for party
Like in the evening.
in the evening,
And can I say one more thing?
only if you raise your hand. It's
great.
raised.
We have a flyer created and I'll make sure that it goes out to at least all of you, and I'm sure we'll share it at the ALC or the team meeting also, but for the entire month up until the grand opening on December 8th, we are collecting code tax and SPAR, like our winter warm meeting things collection. And all of new or, used, whatever, all of the donations are going to, God.
What do you-
brain just happened.
Oh, it's the,
It's Passages Recovery Center. They're in Homestead. It's a men and women halfway house for people in early recovery from drug and alcohol addiction. So that is who is going to benefit their clients.
That's
Of our, Passages to Recovery.
okay.
They're the beneficiaries of our donations for all of the warm weather things. So just FYI, I have a box. I'm gonna wrap it up in Christmas wrapper paper here at the office, and I brought some things in. So if you're passing by or even, want to share it to your clients and have them drop by and drop some things off, whatever, but I know that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, just grab a little Giant Eagle bag and throw any gently used, or if you're at Target or somewhere, just grab a cap or a scarf or something. Let's do that. Let's try to give back. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions around that? Thank you. I think that's it. Does anybody else have a note of business to add to ALC?
Oh, last thing about the grand opening. I asked y'all if you could, you ALC wonderful people, if you could get together any of your favorite vendors. We're trying to get our vendors, to our grand opening as a resource for all of you. So if you could please, anyone that you would really love to work with, shoot me their info so we can.
Inspectors or we have an affiliated agreement with
But
AJM. So.
inspectors, cleaning companies, photographers, and like whoever comes to mind when you're doing business, stagers or whatever.
Oh, stagers, Sherry Joe.
These shares. He thought you meant him. Sherry Joe.
Sherry Joe. I know Ryan knows who she is.
Wait, hold on. What about Sherry Joe?
We were just saying, I don't know, maybe Sherry Joe would want, I'm using her on a listing this week. But maybe she'd want to come and have a little table and just kind of at the grand opening, what we had envisioned. I wish maybe we should send some pictures of the York opening that we went to. They had tables and little tents with all different kinds of vendors, like vendors that do gift baskets or Cutco or home inspectors or blah, blah, blah. And so they'll have a little table and they can be in front of other agents and just say, hi, it's a great way for us to share and grow their businesses. I think that's a great thing to do for them. I don't know about y'all, but I occasionally ask my lender for, for referrals. And so if we can help them grow their businesses, that's great too. Any thoughts around that? See, I see when things are going weird. Anybody have any questions? Cindy's laughing at me. I'm so glad to be your morning humor, Cindy especially. She's like, oh. Anything else, everybody? Thank you so much for coming in all the time and saying hello and giving us words of encouragement. We truly do appreciate you guys, and hope you're having a good week, and we will see you soon next week.
I'm
sure.
out. Wait, pause.
Okay.
Well, I have a question I want to ask everybody. How are we doing?
Great question.
How are we doing?
How are we doing?
Amazing.
Yeah,
Love it.
Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
I was just saying, I feel like I've said my piece plenty of times, but I think everybody's doing awesome. I think you guys are all doing great. It's so great to have Jennifer in the office, and Alana and Eva and everybody. I mean, and Joe, you're doing an awesome job. So I think the direction is great where everything's going.
Very appreciative of that.
Yes.
I'm thankful for Eva and Alana and Doug and Allie and Joe. This is a very tough job and just super grateful to all of you for hanging in there. I know the last 3 months, 6 years, have had its bumps, but the 3 months has been tough for me. So I'm just grateful that you guys hung in there with us and are here to see this.
I'm sorry for not mentioning Ali and Doug. You guys rock. So sorry.
And Eva and Alana.
I already said Eva and Alana. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. See y'all next time.
Thank you.